Parashat Noah. Well, the Zohar says that we have to remember the Torah is not a newspaper and not Hardy Boys. The Torah was written by Kadosh Baruch Hu for past and present and future tense. Sefer Bereshit is really a guide, an introduction to us what might happen and how to avoid it. The last Parasha, the Torah tells us that people did not behave. They thought the whole world is Manhattan. Don't wear the proper clothing, don't behave to each other nicely. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to destroy the whole world. Says the Gemara that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to destroy everybody, including Noah. Including Noah. Says the Gemara, Noah also, he himself told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I am also not perfect. But, says the Gemara, Noach matzachem b'nei Hashem, Noach found favor in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's eyes, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided, okay, I will start the world again from Noah. But the first thought of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, says the Gemara, was to destroy everybody, no more world. As the Ari says, prior to this world was another world exactly like this world. And Ari says few people from last world are here, who were here in this world. Like Avraham Avinu, he was in the world before. Moshe was in the world before. Datan Aviram, they were in the world before. Ari has a list of people that came back from the world before this world. The Gemara says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu bonei olamot machrivan. There's no information how many worlds were before this one, but might be thousands. Don't know. Definitely we do know that right before this one was another one. And here came Parashat Bereshit, and another Parasha, 1,556 years after creation, HaKadosh decided to destroy the world completely. Finished. Ki nichamti ki asitim. Hashem says in the Torah to tell Moshe Rabbeinu to write to us that Hashem regretted He created this world. But v'noach matzachem b'nei Hashem, Hashem so-called from his hay, changed his mind about destroying everything just because Noah is here. But just for us to know, when the Torah writes such a thing, it's really a message for us. Who knows what might happen? Whatever might happen, somebody thinks and he wants to survive, he has to know why did Noah survive. And then it's going to keep him alive in very dangerous times. So Rabbi Yotam Uziel brings, it says, the Gemara says, Noach matzachem b'nei Hashem, Noach was very humble. Very humble. It's a very nice thing to be humble, but so what? If Hashem decided to destroy the whole world, and Noach himself said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I also did sins. So if he's humble, so what? Doesn't mean anything. A person can be humble, can be a sinner, can walk on the parade. So what if he's humble? Here comes the Parashat Noach, and Hashem tells Noach, כי אותך ראיתי צדיק לפניי בדור הזה. Noach gets a title from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, something that no one ever heard from HaKadosh Baruch Hu directly, that he's a tzaddik. Not Moshe, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Hashem spoke to Nevi'im. Hashem never told a Navi in his face, you tzaddik. Not only that, the Gemara says, when Noach is being introduced, this is Parasha to us, Torah says Noach is tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. Not just tzaddik, was tamim, was humble. Says the Gemara. But when Hashem speaks to him directly, Hashem tells him, you tzaddik. So you tzaddik. Something Hashem did not say to anybody else. Very interesting. And then Hashem tells him, let's not decide to destroy the world. I'm going to destroy earth, I'm going to destroy the people. Hamas is coming. Hamas, stealing from each other. Don't behave, not modest, not dress properly. Don't behave nicely to each other, not pure people. Please, Mr. Noach, what I would like you is to go build yourself an ark. Big box. And you take all the animals inside. And from the kosher ones, Noach learned Torah. From the kosher ones, you bring 7. 7 pairs. From non-kosher, 1 pair per each. Bring them inside the teva. And please go buy food. You go buy food for yourself and for all the animals. You go inside the teva, make yourself a little window, make 3 floors. Can't throw outside, it's not New York City. Don't throw garbage outside. All the garbage has to be stored for 1 year. Noach is going to be in the teva 365 days. And Hashem tells him, that's the Torah tells us the details. It says, go collect food for you, for all the creatures. You're going to be on a cruise with all the roaches, with all the mice and the snakes and everything else. It's going to be a nice cruise. You won't be able to see what's going on outside. Just put yourself a little light inside. Go, the Gemara says, go get yourself a precious stone. Hang it in the teva, it should have a little light. There's going to be no sun outside, it's going to be cloudy outside. And go inside, lock yourself inside. And that's how you're going to survive. That's how Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to survive. The one he tells him in his face is a tzaddik. To be a zookeeper. The zookeeper of the Bronx Zoo. Can you imagine? Not even to have fresh air, oxygen. To be locked inside a teva, and he's going to have to give food and clean all the animals. Can you imagine? Diaper all the animals, clean all the animals, wash all the animals, give them food. Comes the Gemara, Vayisherach Noach. The Gemara says one time he came to the lion to give the lion food. The lion asked him, where were you? You're late a few minutes. The lion hit him. Says the Gemara, Noach was bleeding. Noach was crippled for the rest of his life. Walking, couldn't walk, bleeding. So what happened? I was late. What do you mean you were late? What do you mean you were late? Noach is tzaddik tamim. Holy man, humble. Gemara said, Eliezer, the servant of Abraham, met the son of Noach, Shem. And he asked him, can you tell me something? What happened at Teva? He said, I can tell you one thing. My father and us, me and my brothers, had no day, no night. Running around the Teva the whole day, the whole night, give animals food. Cleaning the animals. Cleaning the Teva. Put down all the garbage, all the dirt in the first floor. Peeling potatoes, banana, everything for the animals. Give this animal this, give animal that. Some animals eat during the day, some animals eat during the night, and no day, no night. This is a designated, chosen, holy man, Noah. That's how Hashem saved him, to be a zookeeper. Says the Torah that after the journey was finished and Noah felt the Teva landed, the children told Noah, okay, you see, dry land, let's go outside. Noah said, I can't go outside. Hashem told me to go inside until I get message from Hashem, get out, I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go out. Isn't enough is enough. 1 year locked in the table with all the animals, all the creatures. Let's have some fresh air, let me go outside. Can't go outside. So in the text, the Torah tells you this story. This is for what? What do you have to know all this? Continues the Torah, and Torah says Hashem came to Noah and said, you get out of the teva. You're allowed to get out of the teva, take your family, take your wife and the children and wives. You go out of the teva. Take all the animals outside. Some animals will not come outside. You're going to have to force them to come outside. Take them and go start the world again. So that tells us that Noah went to Yerushalayim. The Teva landed between Turkey and Iran. You can see it on Ash.com, ashatorah.com, you can see the Teva. They found the remains of the Teva on the mountain. So Noah goes to Yerushalayim, he built an altar. He built an altar in the same spot Avraham Avinu built an altar to slaughter Yitzchak. In the same spot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took some soil and made mankind, Adam HaRishon. Goes over there, he built an altar, and he sacrifices few animals. The Torah tells you HaKadosh Baruch Hu smelled the smell of the animals, and he said, you know what? I promise myself I will not drink my bull again. Sandy, tsunami, yeah. Tsunami I will. But I will not bring my bull to destroy the whole world. Why? Because I smelled the sacrifices. What do you mean smell? Hashem smells sacrifices, so what? What this has to do with it? Because Noah sacrificed few sacrifices to Hashem. Hashem said, okay, from now on, never going to be another flood, another Mabul. Why? Because Noah sacrificed something. Then the Torah tells you, Torah tells you that Noah came out of the Teva. He had in the Teva a branch of a vineyard. And Hashem told him to go inside the Teva. And Hashem told him he's going to destroy the whole world completely. So he brought inside, says the Gemara, a branch of a vineyard. He came outside the Teva, says the Torah, he planted the branch and blossomed, had some grapes, and he squeezed the grapes and became grape juice wine, and he got drunk. What in America, alcoholic Noah. No tequila, no Shivas Regal from the wine. 5 minutes he's drunk, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And then his son came home and did something not nice to him. And then he had a dream, says the Gemara. He woke up and he had a dream that in the dream he saw that his son did something to him. He gets up, he cursed him. And he says, Ham, Ahu Knan, you're going to be a slave. Shem, Yefet, will be blessed. Finish the story of Noah. Finish. Then comes the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot and tells us some information. So you should know, it's the 5th Perek in Pirkei Avot, 10 Dorot me'Adam ad Noach. That says you count the generations between Adam HaRishon, mankind, and Noach are 10 generations. So it said the Mishnah, those people most of them did not behave until Noah came. Then continues the Mishnah and says, 10 generations from Noah to Abraham. Also, the Mishnah said, most of the people did not behave. Ad sheba Avraham, until Abraham came, v'natal schar kulam. He got a reward for all of them. All of them. When the Mishnah talks about Noah, the Mishnah doesn't say anything about Noah. Erased from the history. Yes, it's true. From mankind to Noah, They didn't behave. Noah was okay. But from Noah to Abraham, the Torah, the Mishnah said, Abraham, the biggest. Abraham, the biggest. He got the reward for all the generations before. Something that the Mishnah doesn't say about Noah. I said, what is the secret about? What is it? Noah erased from the history. The world started from Noah. Hashem loved Noah. Noah is Tzaddik Tamim. We know Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That's it. Noah, nothing. When we know nothing. How come? What happened? Somebody, Hashem told him in his face, you Tzaddik. The Torah describes him Tzaddik Tamim. Extra person. Nothing. Finish with this. Come to the Gemara and tell us some information. This is the Haftarah. This is the last chapter of the Tanakh. It's the Haftarah of Shabbat HaGadol before Pesach. We expect the Geula. Chachamim, Anshe Knesset HaGdolah, told us to read the last chapter in the Tanakh. Navi Malachi was the last Navi. The last Navi, after there was no Navi anymore. So he writes like this, the Haftarah starts, V'arbal Hashem minchat Yudah v'Yerushalayim. Hopefully one day Hashem would love and will accept with love the sacrifices of Yerushalayim. Kimi Olam Uchshanim Kadmoniyot. Like he was before. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? When? It says time of Hevel, time of Noah. So David says, you should pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That you should have Bet HaMikdash v'mera b'yameinu Amen. Amen. And the Hashem would love. But we're going to sacrifice to him the same way he loved when Noah did. Says the Gemara, what do you mean exactly? So the Gemara says, well, I'll tell you what it is. When Noah came out of the Teva, was no Avodah Zarah. Noah was 601 years old. He came out of the Teva. The world was deserted. He built an altar. He sacrificed. There was no church. There was no idolship. No Buddha. So Navi says, we wish, that one day the Mikdash will come down. That's the best for Hashem. Even though Shlomo built Bet HaMikdash, and then Ezra, Mordechai, built Bet HaMikdash, still was Avodah Zarah all around the world. Idolship. Navi said, listen, I'll tell you, you want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be happy? His happiness should be this, like the same time of Noah and Hevel. Adam HaRishon's son also built an altar, also sacrificed. Was no Avodah Zarah, there weren't any idols. That's what Hashem wants. This is what is the difference. So, we want any idols. It says, you say, I hope you have Bet HaMikdash. There's nobody who do idolship. What's the difference? Why? That's the hope. He says, we want Mashiach, we want HaMikdash. He says, listen, we hope Bet HaMikdash will come down, we hope Mashiach will come, but the sacrifices should be to Hashem. Hashem should accept it with love. Noah. So what is Noah? What has to do with Noah? Come Chachamim and tell us should know the secret of our life. The secret of our life is to accept HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the only entity as our king, as our master. That's when we refer to Hashem, we say, Baruch Atah Amunai. And it says, Hashem, you my master. You're my master. You say, my master. Can you imagine? Can you imagine you're a slave? Can you imagine you're a slave? Your master is in front of you, tells you, listen, this is the halacha, that's what I have to do. You can't argue with him. You can't say, Hashem, you my master, and you do what you want. It says you have to follow Shulchan Aruch. You have to follow the halacha is. You have to know what the halacha. What does the master want from you? You can't pick and choose, and you tell him, you master, listen, I think I'm going to do this. I hope you'll agree with me. Master means you're the slave and he's the master, not the opposite. That's called Malchut, kingdom. This is the way Hashem, when we say hopes, to bring Mashiach. Mashiach means, והיה השם למלך על כל הארץ. ויאמר הוא יהיה השם אחד ושמו אחד. That's the goal. That we, as the chosen nation, hope to Hashem. That's why Hashem spread it out all around the world. We should teach everybody from the Goyim. They should believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu as the God, as the only one, as the king of the world. Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what you have to do. And you do this, you do Kiddush Hashem. It's called Kiddush Hashem. It's called Itgadal V'Tkadash. That's the power of the Kaddish. As the Gemara says, you say, Amen Yeshmei Rabbah, Hashem tells the Gezorot because you accept Hashem as the king. It's called Gadal V'Tkadash. Somebody doesn't keep Shabbat and eats not kosher food, and who knows what else he does? He comes say Kaddish. Hashem said, what did you say? You say, I should be the king of the world, and you don't listen what I do say. You do the opposite what I say. So you come and say, I have Kaddish for my father. They pick your father out of Gadol and put him in Gehenna because of you, says the Gemara. If you don't behave, father, mother being pulled out of Gadol and put in Gehenna. And you come to it and say Kaddish, don't say Kaddish. Hashem said, you say Kaddish, what you know Kaddish mean? Kaddish means Gadal V'Tkadash, Shmei Rabbah, Hashem's name should be bigger. Here and this, here, Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Alam, Lamei, Almaya, all know the words. And so when Mashiach will come, and says, what do you do for this? That's the goal. This is the obligation, that's the destination, that's the test, nothing else. That's the power of Am Yisrael. That's called Malchut. It's called Sfirat Malchut in Kabbalah. It means that Kadosh Baruch Hu is the king and we are his servants. And it's a pleasure and a privilege to be the servant of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a pleasure. It's not something that, okay, Hashem chose us to be his servants. That's the biggest thing. And that's what Rambam writes in his commentary. That says in the Torah, it says it's a special mitzvah to be Bet HaMikdash. The Rambam writes, you should know one of the 630 mitzvot is to have Bet HaMikdash. And it says, for what? To sacrifice over there. What does that mean? It says, when you sacrifice to Hashem, it means you bring a present to the boss. You act like you're the slave and he is the master. He is the king and you're the slave. That's all. That's how Hashem said, David, you come 3 times a year to Bet HaMikdash, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, et Pnei Adon Hashem. You come to Bet HaMikdash, he said, hello, my boss. You're my boss. I listened to you. I came. I left my family. I left my fortune. I came to say Chag Sameach to you. I said, why? Why Hashem wants it? Because that's the ultimate goal. The goal is Bet HaMikdash. The goal is to sacrifice to Hashem, to say, Ata Elokeinu, En Kelokeinu, Ata Elokeinu. You my master. That's the goal. That's all we have to do in life. That's it. Nothing else. You do it, you understand what you're here for. You don't do it, you miss the whole thing. That's the Gemara says. The Zohar says, that says in all our books. That's the purpose. And that's why the Torah tells you that Cain and Hevel sacrificed. I said, what is it all about? For what are you telling me this? What's the secret behind it? It means, I realize he's a boss. So I built an altar and I sacrificed. That's the goal. But nothing because Hashem wants you to sacrifice to him. Hashem doesn't tell us. Hashem only tells us, if you want to show me that you understand that I'm the king and you are the chosen servant, that's how you show me. It's not you going on the roof and you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, hi, how are you? That's what it is. That's the whole secret of the sacrifice. And that's exactly what the Gemara says you should know. When people don't behave and do what they want and don't listen to the Chachamim, it means one thing, that you don't accept HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a king. That's what it is. You want to do what you want. This is something that you don't accept authority. That's the problem in life. When Hashem said somebody does something, he's going to get punished. Why? Hashem doesn't care less, says the Gemara, if somebody doesn't eat kosher, or somebody doesn't keep Shabbat, or somebody does not take lulav. Hashem doesn't care less. But if the point is that you have to realize one thing, there is Baal HaBirad, he's a boss. I'm not the boss. So if you do what you want, it means you don't realize there's a boss. You got to realize there's a boss. And if you don't behave accordingly, you lose your visa. It's not a punishment. You have a temporary visa here. We are in transit. If you want to keep your visa, you have to tell HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I understand you're the king, and I'm your servant. You're the boss, and I'm your slave. I said, I understand it. I'll follow the instructions. I look in the Torah, I look in Shulchan Aruch, I look in the Rambam, I learn Gemara. I know that's what you want from me. That's what I do. You don't want to do it, so you lose your visa. Your visa was revoked. Not a punishment. Finished. Now what happened? Nothing happened. The only reason you're here is to realize Hashem Hu Elokim. Hashem is the boss. And since you don't realize it, you have no reason to be here. And that's what Hashem decided last week, Parasha. As a Parasha, people started to walk on the street with not with the proper clothing on. They stole from each other. Hashem said, you know what? I don't need this war. Says the Torah, but let me tell you one thing. If you want to know what Noahh is all about, says the Gemara, I'll tell you what it is. Two things. One, he's a tzaddik. He doesn't go to clubs. He doesn't watch internet. He doesn't watch movies. He doesn't look at ladies. He's a tzaddik. That shows that you understand there's a boss. Says the Rabbi, if you do something in your basement, nobody sees. It's called Chilul Hashem. Nobody saw me. I'm in my basement. I'm in my basement. Says the Rambam, you disgrace Hashem. He said, why? Because you don't understand. Hashem is everywhere, and Hashem is the boss. When you go down someplace that nobody sees you, and you act over there, not in the way Hashem wants you, you disgrace Hashem, Chilul Hashem. For this, the Gemara says there's no kapara. Even Yom Kippur, no kapara. Only death penalty, says the Gemara. Why? Because you have to understand there's a boss, and you act like there's no boss. So what if you did it in the basement, nobody saw you? You went someplace, or you went to a club someplace, or you're on a vacation someplace. Who knows what you did over there? I said, well, nobody saw you. Well, the boss saw you. The boss saw you, your visa might be revoked. It doesn't matter how long beard you have in peot and sombrero. It means nothing. The boss saw. And that's what the Torah says. Hashem said, I'm going to destroy the whole world. But Noah was a tzaddik. Pure, holy. But the Torah says something else. He was very humble. Because humbleness shows that you're nobody and there's a boss. If you act with chutzpah and you talk back to people and you put down people and you have no manners and you have no politeness and you talk and you scream and you do what you want, it means you don't understand he's a boss. Because if the boss is here on top of you and he's looking at you, you will never raise your voice. The boss is here. Boss is here. Your boss is here. How can you talk like this? How can you scream like this? How can you act like this? Nachman Breslev used to say, I'm embarrassed even to scratch myself. The boss is looking. Rabbi used to say, you're not allowed to sit, put one foot on top of the other. The boss is looking at you. You won't dress like all those people on the streets because the boss is looking at me. I'm not going to walk the way they walk. I'm not going to run the way they run. I'm not going to dance the way they dance. I'm not going to sing what they sing. The boss is looking. The boss is looking. Watch every move that you do. That's called you have a boss. Otherwise, I do whatever. You do what you want. It means there's no boss. Humbleness. Down to earth. And not acting anything that you don't know if the boss approves. That's Noah, says the Torah, says the Gemara. Noach matzachem b'nei Hashem. First Hashem decided to destroy all the world, the whole thing. And Hashem changed his mind. You know what? I leave Noah because he understands that I'm the king and he is the servant and not the opposite. And he comes to Torah and tells you, listen, Hashem says, Noach, let me tell you something. You want to survive what's coming up, the World War III, let me tell you what you got to do. Listen, you go now build an ark for 120 years. Go chop wood. Go get nails from your son. His son had a factory for nails, Shem. And build the Teva 120 years, stand on the street with your hammer. And people say, what is this Noah? What's the big box? Say, listen, flood is coming, tsunami is coming, send your sister, it's coming. And people say, yeah, really? No, well, you think you're going to go inside? What about us? You do teshuvah. You do teshuvah, I don't need to use it. You're not going to do teshuvah, I'm going to use it myself. You can use it yourself. We'll show you something. We'll break it. 120 years, the man was standing on the street, building the ark, chopping wood. I says, that's called humbleness. That's called you listen to the words of the boss without asking questions. 120 years standing on the street and give lectures to people, and everybody is laughing, says the Gemara. After 120 years, Hashem tells him, listen, go get food now. Get food for animals. You're going to be the zookeeper. Me the zookeeper? Says the Gemara, you know what Hashem is? Hashem is a zookeeper. Look at the people on the street. They don't behave like people. They're animals. Says the Gemara, forget about it. What do you think all the animals eat? Mikarnei remima betzei kenim, says the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Hashem is so humble. Oev ger. Hashem loves converts. Orphans, ladies, Hashem supports them, Hashem gives them. Says the Gemara in the Torah, in the Navi, in the Ketuvim, says the Gemara, you see how great he is and how humble he is to tell us, listen, the destination is humbleness, down to earth. Then you have a chance to survive. You, Mr. Noah, let me tell you something. You're going to be the zookeeper now for all the creatures. And you're going to take them inside the table. And you're going to buy food for them. And you're going to serve them for 1 year with no light in the teva, small thing. And all the dirt being stored in the first floor. And you're going to have to have mask and oxygen walking around. You couldn't take the smell. You can't throw it outside. And after 1 year, you come outside. I don't tell you now how many. See, I'll tell you when you come outside. You go inside, and I'm going to help you, and I'm going to lock the door. Let's go, Hashem, Hashem locked the door. Just 1 year, walks around. Walks around, the Teva walks around, Noah runs in the Teva. He says, that's the one. That's the secret of survival. It's not my respect. You know, I'm boss. I have 5 secretaries. Can you please bring me a coffee? Why, you paralyzed? Can you go downstairs, buy me a bagel? Why, you paralyzed? What? Serving. Says the Gemara, Shimshon could not walk straight. He was crippled on his feet. He never asked, and he was walking with the stick, says the Gemara all the time. The Gemara, he never asked anybody from Am Yisrael. He was the judge, he was the king. He never asked anybody, he says, can you please bring me the stick from there? He couldn't walk. He jumped to get the stick. Because when you ask people, Mechila, can you pass me Coca-Cola? Can you pass me this orange, the ketchup? Can you give me this, please? Why, you're crippled? You can't get up and get it? Can you give me the another piece of steak? You already had 5. And you want another piece. He said, why? You can't go get up it? You can't get it? Can you please serve me this? Can you give me? What do you think? Your wife is a servant, is a maid? Or your mother is a maid? It says that shows pride. You lose your visa. Because it means you don't know there's a boss. You're not a boss. You're a slave. A slave will not talk like this, will not act like this. Will not embarrass people, and will not be cruel to people, tyrannical to people. If you have those kind of habits, Hashem said, I cannot dwell with you. Doesn't matter how you look and how many mitzvot you have. You're going to die in the flood. Noah is a survivor. I said, me? Mister, my name is Rabbi Noahh. I should be a zookeeper. Can you imagine? I take Papa Sally and put him zookeeper. What is this? That's why you're going to be survived. That's why you survive, Noah. Because you're a zookeeper. Because Hashem is a zookeeper. Because it shows you humbleness. It's not my respect, it means you're finished.
I'm not going to do that. It's not me. What are you talking about? When I was a kid, I did it. Well, I take the garbage from my wife. I take the garbage from my mother. No. My secretary, my maid. I got a maid. I got a Spanish maid from El Salvador. She does it. Oh yeah? Lack of humbleness. In Kelem in Russia, on Simchat Torah, the boys in the yeshiva used to bid. Who wants to take the sewer? There was no sewer line. There were pails under the toilet. They used to take it and pour it outside. On Simchat Torah, boys used to fight who will have the zechut, the privilege to take it out the whole year. And people used to beat. A guy said, I'm going to learn 1,000 pages of Gemara. I want to have the zechut, the privilege, to take this dirt and spit it outside. Ugh, me? No. The maid. My wife. What is this? Pride. You have no merit to survive the Mabul. Only Noah. Comes Hashem and says, listen, you know, Noah came out of the Teva, he built an altar. Says Navi Malachi, hopefully one day Mashiach will come. Rabbi Amenu Amen. Amen. Beit HaMikdash, Hashem expects this Beit HaMikdash to be at the same time was Hevel and Noah. So what is no Avodah Zarah? Who cares Avodah Zarah? No, you don't understand. If it is Avodah Zarah on the street, then the world is contaminated with pride. You smell and you breathe chutzpah. People have no manners. Children have no manners. The principal of the school has to come with a machine gun to school. The teacher with rifles.